ভিডি হিস্টোরি মিন্স বাংলাদেশ হিস্টোরি, মানে বাংলাদেশের ইতিহাস। ভিডি হিস্টোরি, it's my channel. If you liked that, please subscribe of my channel and stay with this channel to know more about Bangladesh. If you want to know about the history of Bangladesh, first of all you have to talk about the war of 1971. Let's know about the war history of Bangladesh.
December 16th, 1971. The day when Indian armed forces brought the Pakistani army to its knees. Pakistan's armed forces laid down their arms at a surrender ceremony in Dhaka before the joint command of the Indian armed forces and Bangladesh's Mukti Bahini, also known as the Bangladeshi Forces. The war's end also resulted in the unconditional surrender of the Pakistan Army and subsequent secession of East Pakistan into Bangladesh. India gave people of Bangladesh their independence. Pakistan lost half of its country. A new nation was born, Bangladesh.
Now as the Pakistani armed forces have surrendered in Bangladesh, and Bangladesh is free, it is pointless in our view to continue the present conflict.
Pakistan surrendered with 93,000 soldiers, the largest military surrender after the Second World War. It was also the first time when all three divisions, the Indian Army, the Indian Air Force and the Indian Navy, fought together. In fact, it was for the first time since India's independence that the Indian Navy was engaged in an offensive role on such a large scale. The war changed the geopolitical landscape of the South Asia region forever. Bangladesh emerged as the seventh most populous country in the world. It did not happen overnight. Almost 9 months before Bangladesh got its independence, the country woke up and chose its destiny. The Bangladesh Liberation War began after the Pakistani military junta based in West Pakistan, led by their president Yahya Khan, launched Operation Searchlight against the people of East Pakistan on the night of March 25th, 1971.
25th March, in fact, the bloodshed began. They had the plan to grab us. They thought they will just smash. They will run over the innocent people, Dhaka University and the Ramna race course where the Bangabandhu spoke on 7th March, the instructional. That was in fact the declaration of the liberation and independence.
In the early hours of March 26th, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, a Bangladeshi politician and statesman, declared independence from Pakistan.
He declared.
In 1970, his party, the Awami League, secured an absolute majority in the Pakistani general elections, the country's first, winning more seats than all parties in West Pakistan, including Zulfikar Ali Bhutto's Pakistan People's Party. The Pakistan military annulled the results of the 1970 elections and arrested Rahman, who was the prime minister designate. His declaration coincided with a ruthless show of strength by the Pakistani military. It was a systematic elimination of nationalist Bengali civilians. Tanks rolled out on the streets of Dhaka. 200,000 to 3 million Bengali people were killed. 200,000 to 400,000 Bengali women were raped. It was a genocide.
I have seen and killing of the Bengalis. I have seen in my own eyes in Chittagong, that is naval port area.
A lot of women, because they were majority of course, the majority of refugees who came to India were Hindus, and they were massacred. They left there with the older people and behind them, and they were very bad shape, and they were
So they were calling back the butcher from Baluchistan, Tika Khan. They never wanted to hand over power to Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib and to shut down.
Commodore A.W. Chowdhury was one of the brave soldiers of Mukti Bahini. The government declared the period from March 17, 2020 to March 26, 2021 as the Mujib Borsho, marking the birth centenary of the Bangabandhu, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. This is the first visit by any Indian naval ship to Mongla. The last time it happened was 50 years ago. It was a covert operation. On the 9th and 10th of December 1971, two gunboats named Padma and Palash, jointly manned by the Indian Navy and Mukti Bahini personnel, sailed up the Pusur River, attacking various Pakistani installations at the port. Stationed in the French city of Toulon at the time, Commodore Chowdhury was one of 8 Navy personnel who defected from the Pakistani Navy. He decided to join the Bangladesh Liberation War on hearing the March 26th declaration. And to help fulfill his dream, he looked at India.
When there was no navy, and finally we moved out on 29th March, and out of 9, one guy was from Sylhet. Quietly he went to England. So we got the ticket in the evening, instead of waiting or spending more time in hotel.
And after reaching Delhi, well, Indian Intelligence Bureau and all that, they contacted Indian Navy that yes.
It was the Indian Navy who helped them prepare for a covert mission that is believed to have changed the course of the war. These 8 hopefuls were joined by hundreds of young male refugees who fled from then East Pakistan due to the brutal crackdowns. And then started the Indian Navy's secret mission of turning these young men into combat divers. It was dubbed Operation X, known to very few, even within the Indian Navy. A village on the east bank of Bhagirathi River in the Indian state of West Bengal.
From end April, we started looking for the suitable site. Eventually, we found it in Palasi. East Pakistan. The Naval Commando operation, or rather we call it the waterborne saboteurs, into full swing. Initially there was a plan of training only about 100, but then our top brass, that means the Chief of the Naval Staff, Admiral Nanda, thought pretty big, and he said that why not much more. No number was laid at that time, but we had to roll out people, as many as possible.
After training for 4 months, they were ready to carry out the attacks of August 15th at various ports. The trained Bangladeshi soldiers were then ready to disrupt the maritime commerce lines that sustained the Pakistani army in its eastern province.
This, particularly this attack was Bangladesh, or say East Pakistan at that time, was basically a riverine country. That part of the country, and even our area of West Bengal is the same, not very much different. So we knew the conditions of the terrain.
The August 15th attacks were a part of Operation Jackpot, a code name for the 3 major operations undertaken by Bengali Mukti Bahini against Pakistani forces. It is interesting to know that 2 Bangla songs had a role to play in the early attacks. The first one was by singer Pankaj Malik, who sang a rendition of a popular Rabindranath Tagore song, Frequency, only known to a handful of people, including Commodore A.W. Chowdhury.
All India Radio played 2 songs. Two Bengali songs, which were relayed through the Agartala.
After the attacks of August, several other offensives were carried out to paralyze Pakistani bases in the east, including a mission by Force Alpha. Force Alpha was a maritime task force comprising 2 gunboats of the Flower class, Padma and Palash, loaned from the West Bengal government. Chitrangda, a watercraft of the Border Security Force, and INS Panvel, a seaward defense boat, as its command ship. Panvel was also the Indian Navy's smallest acquisitions from the erstwhile USSR.
Not say that these are the Indian ships, and we were instructed, we are given a 9mm pistol.
Channel, which the weight of that mine was 250 kg is mine. I was confident.
Force Alpha carried limpet mines, explosives, small arms and other equipment necessary to undertake underwater sabotage, scuttling and boarding operations. Carried out between December 7th to December 10th, the task assigned to Force Alpha was to undertake a maritime attack on the port complex of Chalna and Mongla, thereby achieving an offensive on the adversary from the sea, and to dislocate its forces. But in a heavy crossfire near port of Khulna, both Palash and Padma were accidentally destroyed by the Indian Air Force.
Before we could...
By December 16th, 1971, the Pakistan Navy had suffered heavy damage. Almost all their gunboats and their destroyer, PNS Sylhet, as well as the long-range submarine PNS Ghazi, were lost in the conflict. The Pakistan Navy had never maintained a squadron of warships in the eastern wing of Pakistan. Rear Admiral Muhammad Sharif, the first 4-star admiral, intelligence and hence were both deaf and blind, with the Indian Navy and Indian Air Force pounding us day and night. And decisive, a triumph for India and Bangladesh. During the Bangladesh Liberation War, 10 million men, women and children from then East Pakistan took shelter in the Indian states of West Bengal, Tripura, Assam and Meghalaya. India was the first country to recognize Bangladesh. 5 decades have passed. In 2021, India awarded the prestigious Gandhi Peace Prize to Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, considered the father of the nation in Bangladesh.
If you liked my channel, please subscribe. আপনারা যদি আমার চ্যানেলটি পছন্দ করে থাকেন তাহলে লাইক বাটন চাপ দিন এবং সাবস্ক্রাইব করে রাখুন। বাংলাদেশের নতুন নতুন ঐতিহ্য এবং নতুন নতুন